Hello and welcome to another episode of the Bearded Mystic podcast, and I'm your host, Rahul N Singh. So it's been quite some time since I've posted or recorded a podcast. It's been almost, I think, a good uh, 4 months. We're in March. The new year started, and a lot has been going on. And I feel like now I have a bit more time to kind of record a podcast and share my thoughts again with you, um, and contemplate upon spirituality. These last few months for me has been one of I would say, understanding what Seva is, or selfless service, in the sense of how can one truly be an observer and not be the doer, and what are the implications of that? The implications, one, is that it's very easy to get swept up, sorry, with the whole praising or criticizing. So somebody praises you, makes you feel good. Somebody criticizes you, doesn't make you feel so good. And it's all about maintaining that balance. That, okay, even if I'm getting praised, what does that really mean? If I'm getting criticized, what does that really mean? And if I fundamentally get affected by either one of those, then am I truly abiding in formless awareness? Am I truly understanding my true nature as consciousness itself? Or am I still, in that game of, well, what is my ego wanting from this? Or what is my ego denying from this? And it's interesting when you have to analyze how humble you are. And the funny thing about humility is the more you claim to be humble, the less humble you actually are. So the challenge is that when you are checking upon your humility, it's not checking whether you say the statement of, oh, I am humble. No, it's, well, can I see that the person in front of me is the reflection of the highest? So I'm not treating anybody that, lower than me, regardless of any compartmentalization that society brings. I am not adhering to that. I'm not going to be justifying those things. I'm not going to be kind of adhering to them mindlessly. In fact, even mindfully. See, if you're doing things mindfully, that's interesting because you will never, ever put somebody lower than you if you are mindful. Mindfulness brings actually that understanding that the person in front of me is, if you look at it from a completely non-dual perspective, they are one and the same as me. So there's no need for humility, nor is there any need for ego in that sense. But if we're going to play the game of duality, then of course, I'm going to see that person in front of me as, God itself, or the formless itself, and I'm not going to treat it any lower, or I'm going to see it as my guru. So that person in front of me, or that being, is none other than my guru, my beloved master. So it's been an interesting journey in trying to understand how to allow this teaching to unfold. And the challenge has always been marking my own ego. And, as much as it's easy when you have a family, so normally family members can tell you very honestly where you go wrong, What did you do wrong? Uh, what you can do to improve yourself. So I think that's always important, to always get a different perspective, and um, and then analyze yourself. But I think when it comes to being humble, I want to say when these last few months, I've just kind of realized how little I know. And it's very daunting because, you know, I've probably read, if you looked at it from an intellectual point of view, oh yeah, I've read so many books and all that. But actually, when it comes down to it, the more I've read, the more I feel like I just don't know. And in the sense of when I say I just don't know, it's not that I don't know what reality is or what my true nature is. That is something that is undeniable to me. Nobody can take that away from me. The only time it's taken away from me is when I enter back into duality, and that's the only time that truth is forgotten. Then ignorance comes back up. Then, then I lose sense of what what I really am. But when I'm in non-dual awareness, when I'm in uh, the understanding of my true nature, when I'm abiding in that formless awareness, in that moment, I feel like I know nothing. I realize that the knowledge that one can have intellectually is merely a drop in this ocean of awareness. And the joy is actually just abiding in the awareness and nothing more than that for me. I think the more I can separate myself from the uh, from the movie that's being played on the screen of my consciousness, the easier it is. And recently, my guru has been talking a lot about Atma Manthan, which means self-introspection. And it's an interesting one because there's one type of introspection which is like, okay, you know, did I do something wrong? Did I do something right? Could I have done this better? That's one level of self-introspection. But the real self-introspection is, for me, this, when I'm able to separate myself from thought, from emotion, from my roles and responsibilities, from my relationships, from my intentions, from my conditioning, from my habits. When I'm able to take a step back and just witness what's going on. Currently in my life, I'm going through some challenges. Let me take that back. Not that I'm going through challenges. I can see the challenges appearing, and I have to deal with those challenges. That's something I understand. But one thing I've realized is I don't have to attach my identity to those challenges. And I've literally watched how the mind can easily grasp onto those challenges and make it an identity that, oh, look, I'm going through this. Oh, I'm going through that. Creating that separation has actually helped me, one, learn detachment. So Vairagya is being detached, but then attaching myself to that true nature. So uh, understanding that more and more this refinement is happening, and I'm allowing this refinement to happen naturally and not forcing it to happen. And when you don't force something to happen, it feels, it just, it it doesn't require effort. And that's one thing that I've found to be incredible in the last few months, is how effortless abiding in formless awareness truly is, without uh, desiring a particular outcome, just accepting what really is happening right now and not denying it and not running away from it and not pretending like everything is going to be okay. If life presents grief, if life presents sadness, I'm going to embrace that. I'm not going to deny it. And the funny thing is, in the acceptance of such a thing, one comes to peace, one comes to this limitless expanse of just, kind of presence, which brings happiness. And when I say happiness, it doesn't mean that, you're, going wild with smiles and laughter and all that stuff. It's a calmness that's there, and nobody can take that calmness away from you. And you see, the more one explores that gap in thought, in emotion, in conditioning, in one's intentions, that gap, that the more it widens, the more vaster you allow it to be, the more at peace you feel, the more contentment you feel. And so the more you abide in that awareness. So, for example, I can easily right now meditate, and I can lose sense of my body, attachment to the body, attachment to the mind. In fact, just attachment to the body. The next stage is, once you detach from body identification, you got to detach from mind identification. So you detach from the mind identification. That's one aspect. So you then are able to witness, okay, these are my thoughts, these are my emotions, these are the images that my mind's coming up with, imaginations, dreamlike images, intentions, conditioning. So I'm acting a certain way because of something of the past. So memory is causing, more thoughts, or another layer of thoughts. Then, even interestingly, you can then witness the mind reflecting. So what I mean by that is, when the mind reflects upon its own self, and that is an incredible experience. So you go through that motion. So, okay, you witness. So then you detach from body identification, you detach from mind identification. Then you come to what people would say, well, we are the soul, the Atma, the self. Some people call it the jeev. And rightfully so. Adi Shankaraji just said that the jeev is the same as Brahman. And I agree with that, because the jeev is not a separate being. Once you realize its true nature, but say you're a soul, well, that soul also carries those conditionings from previous lives, the merits and demerits from previous lives. So, and those aspects are what define how you react to a situation, or how you perceive a situation before it happens. So when you're proactive. I'm basing this on the conversation that I had yesterday with a group of friends. And so so those are the imprints of the soul, you could say, of the jeev. But even that, the imprint you are aware of, you can witness. You can witness this very subtle layer of self, which associates as, oh, I am the jeev, or I am a soul. And then you detach from that too. So then what are you left with? And you see, in that moment when there's nothing to attach yourself to, there's nothing left to associate with, there's nothing left to identify with, what is that? What does that mean? What does that entail? And that's what I mean when you come to a place of peace and contentment that is expansive. There's no end to it. It's limitless in nature. And the funny thing is, that you can access this while fully identifying as mind, body, and soul. If we looked at it in that sense, you could actually do that right now. And that realization, which I'm refining in, I'm working on myself on that aspect. For me, is what I call Guru's grace. I think it only happens through grace. Because the more I reflect upon it, like I mentioned in the beginning or before, that one is just a drop, and this ocean is magnificent. And so it's really easy to feel that it's really easy for, and so so what I want to say is you got to understand the limitations of your body and your mind. So, and even your ego, because your ego can easily start thinking, well, I'm just as vast as God. See, once that thought appears, vast as God, what happens there is that subtle layer of ego creates the biggest foundation you can ever set, and therefore makes it even tougher to destroy when it comes to detaching from body, mind, soul identification. And it only happens, and when we have this ego identification of, thinking I am God or whatever, or I am realized, I'm self-realized. The one that is truly self-realized will understand that there was never a becoming in this. There was never a journey into this. It was already here. I created a journey out of it. My limited mind, my limited intellect created a journey out of it. That's what happens. And so when the Guru reveals Brahmgyan, or this or offers that realization to us, that realization brings not a declaration, but actually an inner acceptance of, oh, it was already here. Oh, I already knew this. This seems obvious to me. That's Brahmgyan. That is actually Brahmgyan, is when you say, oh, is this obvious? And the beauty here is this is also where the ego can enter. Because one can say, well, I already knew this, so it's nothing special. And then we lose that understanding. And the interesting thing is, the more I have felt that I have advanced in Brahmgyan, or in the understanding of Brahmgyan, in the knowledge of, or the insights into Brahman, the insights into formless awareness, the more I feel there is more to explore. Meaning, I've got to go beyond body-mind identification, go beyond jeev or soul identification, and just rest in and abide in that formless awareness. And that's the only thing that lasts for 24/7. You see, you can't remember God 24/7. You are already in the remembrance of God 24/7. Meaning that it's not an act that you do, it's simply what you witness to be unfolding at all times. And this insight is what truly makes spirituality really special. But yeah, anyway, these are my thoughts. They're really scattered right now, I guess, uh, and I want you to share what you feel from this well, it is a conversation between me and you. What do you feel about this conversation? Can you relate to it? Can you not relate to it? You may think, oh, this is a beginner on the journey, then that's so be it. Or you may think, oh, he's farther ahead in the journey. But you know what? None of those things really matter other than that right now, right here, between me and you, there is one, no distance, and there is no difference. And it's just an appearance that there's two here. But really, there is just this infinite formless awareness that has no beginning, no end, that's neither there nor immediately here. There's no location in this. It's kind of like a free fall, but you're not falling into anything. And you can't grasp it. However, it may grasp you. And meaning that you can never grasp what awareness truly is, intellectually speaking. However, this awareness itself may be able to grasp your mind and bring peace to it, and bring happiness to it, bring contentment to it, and therefore relaxation to the body. And this is something you can experience. And I truly believe that from my own experience, that it happens when I think about my guru, when I contemplate on my guru's teachings, it helps me more and more. So anyway, this is the end of the episode. I'll try and do more podcast episodes now. And that's because, my son is going to school now, so it means I have time to do so, to do these podcast recordings, and I just look forward to sharing more with you. And the reason for me sharing is just so I can do more and more, and that's what I really want to do. Okay. Thank you very much for listening. Take care and see you next time. Namaste. Bye.